This is my TED Talk for all my single ladies out there. You want to know how to weed them out? You want to know how to weed the bad candidates, bad male dating options you have? You just gotta scare them a little bit. Say something along the lines like, oh, I'm not looking for casualty right now. I'm looking for a more serious approach. Scared! Scare them.
Great plan.
Thank you.
He likes your plan, Chief.
Casualty? Woman, most self-respecting men who want a relationship would prefer a woman who actually has a basic vocabulary. By saying you're not looking for casualty, you've just shown that your brain is on par with 14-year-olds and van-dwelling indie folk stars from the early 1990s. Just because it starts with the word casual doesn't mean it's referring to horizontal tuna time. Unless you're being literal and you're actually looking for men who were brutally killed on a battlefield. If that's the case, then your plan might actually have some merit, because men aren't really into the whole corpse thing, so that statement will probably give them some pause before wanting to meet you in person. If that's the case, hell, more power to you. I guess that's one way to rack up a body count.
Ew, what a mess. Ew, ew, ew.
They'll disappear and scatter like roaches. Like the roaches that they are. And then you'll be left with your top 3. I'm just saying a little tea. You gotta lie a little bit to them. Gotta lie a little bit. And the ones that just want you for the... cancel themselves out.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
This is confusing. You're saying to lie to men you want to date to see which ones are still interested. But your lie is that you're looking for something more serious than a hookup. But by lying, you're more or less saying that you are looking for meaningless hookups, just with the men who are looking for something a little bit more serious. How can this be advice when you barely understand basic words? You're telling other women that the best way to get a man is to lie to them right out of the gate. Or, I'm just spitballing here, you could be upfront with your intentions while simultaneously lowering your impossibly high standards, because your attitude and the way you talk is going to turn off the self-respecting men, leaving only Chad, who's more than willing to pump and dump you because you've made it abundantly clear that you're not worth anything more than a little Netflix and chill time, which is right up your alley because you're looking for a little corpse action anyway, right?
I made a pact with myself at the beginning of this year that if I were meeting up with a man for the first time or I was hanging out, it would be on a date that he planned. You know, it's like, I'm 24. I am too old to be coming over and just chilling at your place or grabbing food and coming back and hanging out. Like, what's hanging out?
If you're 24 and your only experiences with men end up in meaningless hookups, then maybe you should take a step back and figure out what the common denominator with all of these experiences are. It really couldn't be any more simple. You're trying to get Chad to commit, but he's not willing to because of your entitled attitude, your average looks, and a personality that's on par with a stale bran muffin. And I am being extremely generous with that compliment. Don't get me wrong, you're semi-good looking enough for a little alone time with your hollowed out gunk pot of insecure nightmares, but that's not nearly enough for a lifelong commitment, and judging from your insufferable attitude, he's probably saving that relationship for a woman who's more agreeable, needs less makeup, and won't air out their dirty laundry on TikTok for the entire planet to witness.
That's funny because it's so true.
I am not looking for anything casual. Like, I am dating to be in a relationship, and that is my goal. When that is your mindset in dating, it really weeds out a lot of men. I made that pact with myself at the beginning of this year, and let me tell you, have not been on a lot of dates in 2023, no ma'am.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
You are 24. You're still somewhat young and kind of good looking, and you seem to have the IQ which is slightly higher than your average pet hamster. You claim to be looking for a relationship and not a hookup, but for some reason you haven't gone on many dates. This is despite the fact that there is an endless supply of single men out there who are all looking for regular relationships. So why are your dating prospects so slim? Well, I'm no expert, but it's most likely because you told yourself that you're no longer going going after Chad's weenus, but after his wallet instead. Chad can smell this coming from a mile away because that kind of attitude reeks of cheap perfume, acetone, and a touch of 5 o'clock vodka. And you reject the average guy because you believe that those men are beneath you for reasons that only make sense in the endless void of irrationality that is your own mind. I would tell you to lower your standards and you'd be fine, but you're a lost cause and I'd rather save my breath for cooling my intergalactic space oatmeal.
I don't know why it's so hard for men to plan dates, like just take me out to a nice dinner, or we could go, you know, even just like walk around, grab a coffee, like anything except sitting on your dusty ass couch in your apartment. Like, I don't want to do that. And one thing's for certain and two things for sure is I'm going into 2024 with the exact same mindset. Let's be real, if you're not taking me out on a date, you're not seeing me. Simple as that. No ma'am. Like, I was talking to this basketball player and he's like, I just don't have a lot of free time on my hands. Like, but you could come up and see me and you can come chill at my place. I was like, I don't think I will.
Go, girl! You get it, girl! You hear that? You got it, girl!
Why on earth would a basketball player take the time to plan out a date, buy you dinner, or waste time grabbing a cup of coffee when you already made it abundantly clear that you're willing to go over to their place to make some stains on his dusty ass couch, as you so eloquently put it? The dude is a basketball player. He can have any girl he wants, and he's not gonna waste time putting on pants to see you when you're more than willing to come over to take them off anyway. The average guys you obviously ignore would be more than happy to plan out a nice date for you, but in your eyes, none of them count because you think you're better than them because some douche let you ride in his luxury car. You know what? I can't wait for your update in 2024. Something tells me that year is going to be soaked in a wine of the boxed variety.
Good luck.
You ever hooked up with someone and then they found Jesus? So trigger warning, big forehead, make it mind your business. So I had to make a new backup account because I got a new phone and I forgot the email that I used with my other account, so I couldn't log in. My For You page was just full of random people from my life, right? Like the amount of Hinge numbers I've collected were popping up. In high school I haven't seen or spoken to in years. But one video showed up and it was this guy that I used to hook up with in 2019 when I lived in LA. And the video was something along the lines of like, the only purpose for women is to make babies, and I'm like, who the f hurt my man? I know for a fact that we were stuck in and there's no babies, you know what I mean?
This is scary.
I showed this video to a truck stop employee and he was actually able to translate it fairly well for me. Basically, what she's saying is that her brains are so useless that she forgot the email where a majority of her accounts were being used for social media and dating apps. So out of sheer loneliness and desperation, she started looking up the accounts of one of the men she used to hook up with, only to find out that he found religion and was posting a whole bunch of religious talking points on his social media pages. So my best guess was that she was so horrible in the sack that the man needed to find Jesus in order to get over how bad it was. At least that's my best guess, because it's kind of hard to make these determinations when I'm distracted by such a massive forehead.
My instinct is like, oh, this is a joke, right? Like, he's making fun of people who say this shit. Because, like, when I was talking to him, he was really cool, like, a super artsy guy. So I'm like, okay, I need to investigate the situation, right? Like, give me the Perry the Platypus hat, like, we're going incognito. I'm scrolling through his videos, and it's not a joke. Like, every single video is hashtag Catholic talk, not even Christian talk. And I'm not, like, anti-Catholic, okay, my whole family is Catholic, but, like, to put hashtag Catholic talk on a video that's, like, anti-women is crazy. And then I came across one of his videos that was, like, anti-self-pleasure, like, specifically with men. So he's like, how I overcame my needs for Jesus.
Jesus, she is terrifying.
Alright, I'm just failing to see a point here. Once you realize that this guy, who you haven't seen in years, found religion, you were somehow compelled to have your phone set to incognito mode so you can stalk his social media posts? For what purpose? You haven't seen this guy in years, remember? You had no intention of even talking to him. Were you truly that desperate to find out the quote-unquote truth? Don't you have anything better to do with your life than try to blast one of your flings on the internet because he found Christ? You know what, lady? I would tell you to stop stalking your former flings and get a life, but you're wearing a Shrek hairband. There is no hope for you in that department.
We're gonna call his boy Deuce's babies, okay? He's scattered through the mountains of Los Angeles. Like, don't go to Runyon Canyon, girl. Like, and I'm like, okay, I need to see how far this goes. So I go into his TikTok reshares. Candace Owen, Andrew Tate, right at the top. Can't lie. You'd think that I would stop there? No, of course I don't. This is fascinating.
I need to see how deep the lore goes. I go to his Instagram and pretty much everything is deleted besides one picture, right? But he has a highlight reel called My Opinions. Apparently he has really strong opinions on North Korean car trades and Bitcoin. Like, I can't make it up. He was also like, the death of influencers is coming. Well, bitch, here the I am. So, anyways, do you guys think he wants me? Be honest.
Lady, you're scaring us.
So instead of minding your own business and just living your life, you decided that you needed to stalk this guy even further and check his social media on several platforms, and then decide to make fun of him because he reposted some Andrew Tate and Candace Owens videos? How is that funny? You've obviously never seen an Andrew Tate or Candace Owens video with the proper context. You don't even have any idea of why you hate those two outside of the fact that countless people told you to do so. And because you don't have an independent thought in that dead wasp nest you call a brain, you just go along with it because you're incapable of thinking for yourself. I do cordially invite you to keep posting this cringe on TikTok because creatures like you make my job oh so much easier.
I know it, your family knows it. Dogs know it.
If you are in a situationship but you want to turn it into a relationship, then this video is for you. I'm exposing everything that I know right now, and if you listen carefully and do literally exactly what I say, then your situationship is going to become your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
Should be interesting.
Number 1, situationships can only last 3 months maximum. There's this thing called the 3-month rule, where basically if it passes 3 months, it means you're never going to date. If you can't make your mind up about somebody in 3 months that you're talking to, they just don't like you that much.
Hey.
If it takes you 3 months to realize that the guy is only using you for banging, then you've only got yourself to blame. The fact of the matter is that if you're going after Chad and you catch the feels, odds are he's gonna keep you around just as long as things are low effort for him, because it's gonna be insanely easy to lead you along. And even if you know it's a situationship, you're gonna stay anyways because he's Chad and you want your happy storybook ending. You'll make endless compromises because deep down you don't want to believe that he's simply not into you outside of the 20 seconds of boom boom time you give him 3 nights a week. And at the end of the day, you already know that the two of you will never work out, but you're too stubborn and insecure to admit otherwise.
Number 2, you need to set your intentions and your boundaries as early on as you can. If you think you're going to make the fuckboy with 0 commitment fall in love with you, so you pretend that you don't want a relationship either, you're never going to change him or her. If you make your intentions clear from the get-go, that person is either going to step up or step the fuck out.
What?
You know, I hate pointing out the obvious, but you are just terrible at this, babe. You are forgetting a very specific point, and that point is those particular rules change when it's Chad or Tyrone. A woman is willing to invest literal years into trying to make a relationship happen with Chad simply because she doesn't want to go back to dating average guys. Women hope that by sticking around long enough, she can magically change Tyrone into somebody that wants to stay with her, but that's simply not how it works. Men are not willing to change for you. Why in the hell should they? They're getting plenty of good times in the bedroom, and you'll keep coming back for more. The second you become a pain in the ass, they ghost you and move on to the next girl because unlike you, they actually have options.
Number 3, you need to have them perceive you as girlfriend or boyfriend material if you ever plan on them dating you. This means stop posting thirst traps, stop posting your Snapchat for other people to add, and stop hooking up with random people. They need to see you as somebody worthy of dating.
Wow, that's fantastic work, man. You have the wisdom of a 6,000 or 7,000-year-old man. That's fantastic. We don't have to fill up the whole blackboard after all.
Correction, you never should have been doing that in the first place. If you spent your youth posting thirst traps, keeping rosters, and jumping from bed to bed as if it were a double dare obstacle course, then there is no chance in HE double hockey sticks that you're gonna be able to show yourself as proper relationship material. If you have a body count, you've already been deemed unworthy by all of the worthwhile men. Any self-respecting man who sees that is going to see your emotional baggage from a mile away and avoid you like the dumpster fire that you've become. become. Even if you scrub everything from your social media pages, it won't matter. Those photos will still be around. Those dudes you slept with will still know how to get a hold of you. And when word gets out, those worthwhile guys, the kind you actually want to have a meaningful relationship with, they're just gonna turn their backs because no self-respecting man is willing to settle for a raging dumpster fire of a human being. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. As always, if you find that my particular brand of humor is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.